Hello everyone and welcome to another update here for the JP side with me, Umber Rays, bringing you all the news that you were too afraid to ask for and probably didn't really want it anyways. Anyway, tonight was another live stream night for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius here on the Japanese side. Our mid-month tiny stream, little bit of information about the next story event and possibly collaboration news as well. Well, tonight came and went, and we definitely did get some news. Some exciting news, some disappointing news, some frustrating news, just basically all kinds of stuff. So let's not waste any time. Let's just get right into it. And with that being said, I'll just quickly bring up the first little bit. Now, not any kind of a surprise, but we are going to see a new story event on the Japanese side. Always in the middle of the month, we see our story update where you can get extra tickets, or a few extra tickets, but mainly the big thing is about enhancement stones. You can also get a little bit of equipment. We're looking at a piece of light or clothing that is 35 defense, 21 spirit, 30% to fire and ice resistance, so not a bad thing if you're considering that elemental resistance is becoming pretty important here on the JP side. It's a pretty good thing to get your hand on. Also a light shield with 32 defense, which is just okay, but it also has auto HP regen, so it might be a good enough thing to put on some of the healers that can equip shields. So I would say that both pieces of equipment are actually pretty decent. Now, other than that, there isn't really much to say. This is basically your usual story event, and it seems to have something to do with Season 1, rain, basically. That looks like rain, surprisingly. Or unsurprisingly, I should say. Now, before we talk about the new characters, let's talk about the enhancements, because this month we are getting a rather strange batch of enhancements that will be available after maintenance on the 10th. Now, first of all, Lyra is getting her enhancements. Now, I have been very vocal about what I think of Lyra. Honestly, I think Lyra's kit is pretty bad in the 7-star. It does not support her strongest aspect, which is her spirit buffs. And now that we're looking at her 7-star, I'm still not convinced that this is really going to be enough to fix her, or at least put her on the level of top-tier damage dealers like Citan, as well as Axstar. I do not expect Lyra to come anywhere close, even with her enhancements. So first of all, her ability that gives her triple cast for use of her abilities, as well as some damage reduction and some HP recovery. Basically, enhancing it gives triple ability for an extra turn 2 times, so you can get it for, instead of 1 turn now, it can be a 3 turn, as well as giving 20% total extra damage reduction. So 50% damage reductions, not bad. Now, the biggest thing is her enhancement to her spirit-based attack. This spirit-based attack was 1,000% single target, 14 hit, magical, with using 100% of spirit as magic. Now, it is getting a 500% mod over the 2 increases, so that is a big extra amount of mod. But wait for it. Now, the next thing is that her stacking damage one, which is still a pretty low stack, will get a couple extra stacks on it, as well as some extra modifiers, which does increase it. But physically, her physical attack side was never that interesting and never that strong, really, compared to a lot of other characters. So, yeah, this is probably a pass. She also gets an extra, basically 50% attack when equipped with Knuckle, and this is my problem with her 7-star kit, as well as her 7-star, or her enhancements now. Totally focused on attack, not focused remotely on where it needs to be, which is spirit. So even with the 500% modifier, I don't think this is going to be enough. I think this is a waste of resources. If you're and finding other Lyra users is difficult. So yeah, at this point, I'm pretty sure that Alum just wanted to kill her to make the design space easier for trials. And while they didn't completely ignore the spirit thing, they might as well have. I don't think this will be enough to make a difference. I don't think she will be able to compete with like 7-star Randy, Satan, and Axstar. So, yeah. Sad. But hey, maybe someday if I have the extra equipment, I'll just enhance her. Now, the other characters are Lexa. Now, Lexa is not really that big. Well, Lakisa. I thought she was called Lexa on the global side. Anyway, some enhancements to her, basically tornado chaining, as well as extra magic and MP. Some evade increases to, I believe, herself. And honestly, okay, passable, but unless you're desperate need of the tornado chainer for Arena, probably an easy pass. Elvis gets some enhancements to both to his two-handing as well as some of his attacks, and interestingly, this is probably the most interesting part. He does have a self-cure, poison, blind, Cyrus, and virus, a self plus 100% all elements resistance, and a self-heal that's split over 10 turns. But the interesting thing is that it's going to be adding an MP refresh as well as stop and charm resist. He might actually be the first unit in the game that can be just stop and charm resistant without any support units. So that makes Elvis at least a little bit interesting. And skipping probably the big one, Zell gets some enhancements, some increase to dodge, so he'll get up to 20%, some extra Esper stats. But honestly, I don't think it'll make that big of a difference to Zell. Zell was not that powerful to begin with and probably won't be that powerful now. And last but not least, if there isn't one damn good set of enhancements in this list, it's probably Rinoa. Rinoa is, or I think I said that right. Point is, Rinoa is easily the best enhancements if you're going to enhance anything. Now, first of all, her 20% MP can become a 30% MP to then become a 0% MP, but she gets W Angelo, so she can double cast her Angelo abilities. Great, super, awesome. Unfortunately, it's not triple casting. So this still feels a little bit weaker, but the rest of her enhancements might be where the real power is. Next up, her counters actually get a big boost, up to a total of 40%. Her counters aren't bad with Angelo Strike, so this seems okay to me. Not super big, but pretty nice. Now, next up, one of her big spells, the 450% single target one-hit magic attack that gets increased 300% each use to a total max of 2,850%, gets an extra couple of 50% stacking modifiers to it. If this might be the biggest, one of the biggest enhancements to do on her. Now, 250% mods don't seem that much, but the biggest problem with this magical ability was the fact that Rinoa couldn't cast it multiple times, meaning that it was incredibly slow to stack, even if it was powerful in the long run. Now that she's getting W casting and true dual hand magic is a thing, this might be a lot stronger than I think it is. I'm already thinking it's pretty strong, but I think it could be considerably stronger as a magic chain damage capper. So I would say that this is very worth keeping an eye on. But only because of multiple enhancements. Next up, her 50% attack and magic will go up to 100% attack and magic when equipped with a projectile. Great, this is what she needed since her TMR is not that fantastic and can't get enhanced that fantastic through the weapon event. This is really, 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 really good. Also gives an extra 30% MP, so you can get the W casting ability and still keep that 30% MP. Or you could just not get the W casting, which seems like a dumb idea, but get the 60% MP. Up to you. But the last thing is Guardian Force. Now, this is the important one because it goes from a 10% all equipped Esper stats to a 50% when increased twice. I think this is really, really big for making her long-term valuable because, again, as Espers get stronger, she will get stronger. And most units do not have this ability to gain a ton of extra stats from espers. So if you consider that 3-star espers are really powerful and really great for getting a lot of extra stats, this is probably overall, I gotta say, Rinoa's enhancements are incredible. I think she will go back to being, and I will definitely be, or she will go back to being a very strong magic user, even in the current meta. And I will be doing a review on her. Of course, I will be enhancing her. Come on. Now, other than that, before we get into the characters, we'll talk a little bit about what's to see. The story event, new units are being added, enhancements, tweaks to Chocobo Expedition EQ rates for the Latias Woods. I guess there's something that needs to be fixed there. Also, apparently there are going to be some free polls for under rank 10. So if you're looking to start the JP side, sounds like you can get some extra free goodies. So cool. That will encourage, hopefully, new players. And my voice cracked a little bit because I've been streaming for about 4 hours. It happens. So now we come to the part where we talk about the new characters. Now, I'm going to be running this stream basically in the background a little bit. So we're going to talk about the characters, and this is a 3-unit banner. We have not heard yet, and there hasn't been the post in the game, so I don't know if there's a step up yet. But the actual featured banner this time for the story event does not have a CG unit, which I'm pretty sure I called at the beginning of the month. Anyway, first up is Mifas. She is our 3 to 5-star base. She looks to be kind of a support unit. TMR is actually pretty fantastic. 1 to defense and spirit, 40% to the spirit stat, minus 30% for water resistance, because it is literally the best accessory in the game. It is bread. That is her. That is basically her TMR. It is an accessory that is essentially bread. So I really, really think that's pretty damn cute. Her animations are also pretty adorable. If you check out her limit burst, she eats the super bread. She becomes stronger. I just want her just because. That is incredible. Is it too late to put her on my top favorite unit list? Guess I can give her an honorable mention. But yes, Mifa's pretty good TMR for anyone who's trying to hit the spirit cap. Also with Eris and healers, yeah, just a great TMR. Now, next up is, how do I say this? Kianos? Now, Kianos, it doesn't look like any kind of a remarkable unit herself. Her animations look pretty standard, or her sprite, I should say, look pretty standard too. But apparently her TMR is a big deal because her TMR is supposedly OP. It is being compared to Gravy's TMR. Gravy's TMR, if you don't know, is basically if you use Katana, you get 70% attack on your character. Very strong. Now, Kianos is coming along, and apparently her TMR is OP. Her TMR is limit burst per turn up and limit burst damage up, supposedly OP. Now, the only other limit burst damage up materia that I know in the game is Squall's super TMR. So I'm very curious what the percentage is, but if there's a strong limit burster in the future, having a couple of these might be a really good investment. Or if you have Squall Super TMR and just stack it with this and just get insanely powerful limit burst. Either way, getting at least one of this girl, probably a good idea. So here we take a little bit look at her animations, and her animations feel a little bit stiff. I'm not super happy with how these look. I think they actually look pretty, just generally so-so. Again, there doesn't seem to be much personality in her, but she seems to be that she will be a attacker. Maybe her 4 to 6 star if she has an incredibly powerful limit burst, but yes. It is an easier amount, or an easier increase of limit burst damage to get. That is remarkable, if nothing else. Now, last but not least, our 5-star that is not a CG unit is Crimson. Now, Crimson, he looks to be an attacker. He apparently has chaining with Holy Explosion as well as AT. If you don't know what AT chaining is, That's 8 hits at 6 frames. Basically, CG Reagan and I think CG Laswell as well have those chaining family, or chaining. There's also a ton of other characters that can do it too. I'm pretty sure Safi can do it. I think it's his TMR ability though. Anyway. So this guy looks to be an attacker, and he looks to be an attacker with a name like Crimson, based entirely on the fire element. The fire element here, now his TMR is a materia, 30% attack when equipped with a greatsword, clothes, and light armor. So it seems like he will be 60%. Could be higher, but for now I'm just going to classify it as 60%. I guess greatswords could use a 70% comparison. If this is 90% for some stupid reason, then Crimson is insanely valuable to get your hands on. But I'm not entirely sure yet, so I'll wait and see what the data mine shows up. Super TMR, on the other hand, two-handed greatsword, 175 attack, fire element. This is the thing that Hayu needs. This thing is an absolutely insanely strong greatsword. Incredibly powerful. The fact that it has the fire element on it means that you are limited to the fire element. But fire element is good. This is good. I don't think it is as valuable as something like Cloud's Super TMR or Axstar, just because Axstar, with his own TMR, can put his own elements on it and can switch between those elements as needed, for the most part, except for the whole multiple turn using. But still, I would say that Crimson has some great, possibly an amazing TMR, amazing Super TMR. He's alone on his own banner, but I'm not sure there's a step up, so a little bit hard to recommend him. Now, there's also going to be a bit of a big promotion here on the JP side, and there is still a CG unit this month, and it is coming at the time, but it is separate and outside of the banner. So say hello to the last CG unit the game may ever have, because, my God. Say hello to the combined 2018 summer vacation of Fina and Lid. That's right, it is beach units are back. Summertime is in full swing here in JP, although it is a little bit dangerous, so I hope these girls are, being careful out there. Say hello to our new CG unit, and I will show you their CG animation in a second. But first, let's talk a little bit about the unit themselves. Now, well, I guess the story event is right, but where's the details? Huh. Oh, I guess it's not there. Whoops. Sorry, gotta quickly switch. Now, the one thing that I do remember off the top of my head is the fact that she's been described as basically CG Lid style debuff. So she is apparently a buffer slash debuffer. And that is at least interesting. It could be that Lid got power crept by herself, which, if nothing else, is really interesting, to say the least. But CG Swimsuit, Lid, and Fina, their TMR is an accessory, 3 defense, spirit, 50 MP, 30% to MP and spirit. This TMR is actually just fantastic if you're trying to get the MP done. Spirit, not so much, but MP, definitely. That accessory should be able to get you to the MP mission really quickly. Super TMR is a materia, 50% defense, 50% spirit, 60% to thunder, water, and light resistance. Incredible for the Ultros trial recently, but it is a Super TMR, and you don't chase Super TMRs. Now, the thing is that while they showed this off, and this is going to be a big promotionary thing, and I'm very interested in the overall kit, so the in-game can post the news at any point, there was one other thing that we found out about this new character, if I can... Whoa, nope, not yet, not quite yet. Where... Well, we'll take a look at the sprites while I talk about it. So, first of all, the sprites are absolutely adorable. The playing the beach ball and wait for that victory animation, because this thing This unit just has potentially, might just be absolutely great and easy to get buffer slash debuffer. And the other thing is that it's just kind of a really cool collectible thing. Even for the TMR, I would probably go for it, which is great because there will be a CG swimsuit bundle. Cost of 8,000 lapis. See, there you can go. The two are playing, or Lid found nothing, Fina found a starfish, Sakura's eating shaved ice, which is a very traditional Japanese treat here in summer. But anyway, the CG swimsuit bundle costs 8,000 lapis. You are guaranteed one CG swimsuit, Lid and Fina, one 4-star ticket, 16 regular tickets, and 30 level 1 mini tars. So yes, that is basically where you can guaranteed get one. Now, let's check out the limit burst animation since it's up. This is pretty much pure fan service. Wait, CG Jake, what are you doing here? Eh? I gotta admit, this is probably just one of the best limit bursts. I mean, Rico exists, so it's not the best limit burst, but still gotta give it a lot of credit. Now, I'm gonna put a giant big asterisk on this. Shush. Quiet. Now, there is one really, really big problem. So this is, of course, this will be available pretty much right after maintenance, as far as I know. You can see that's what the bundle includes. I already talked about that. But the thing is that you only get one. And this girl gets up to a 7-star. So you may be wondering, how do I get 2? How do you get number 2? Well, this is the shady part. If you thought that 8,000 lapis was a good deal, as it turns out, to get the second one, you're going to have to go on a 5% banner, it looks like. It doesn't look like, at least at the moment, that there's another way to get this. You're also limited only to 10, and it seems like this unit will be a limited time unit. I'm not entirely sure that you will be able to UOC it. So while I'm not saying you can't UOC it, I'm just putting a big asterisk on this. This banner is a 5% rainbow banner. It will only be able to use lapis, and it is 5,000 to go for an 11 pull. You are not guaranteed anything in any of these. 5% is very deceptive. It may seem like you'll have good odds, but as it turns out, you won't. You just won't. These do not work as intended. So yes, the good news is that the other units on the banner that you can get for the 5% rainbows are pretty damn decent. Both CG Nickel and Folka, both really great units. So for new players, you can probably get a great buffer, debuffer, and potentially healer too, all from this 5% banner. If you did not get Aerith, although you probably should have by now. But anyway, for new players, this is probably great. For long-time players, this is kind of a trap. If you do go for the one just for collection, I think you're fine. Otherwise, you're going to kind of be hung out to dry to try and get her up to a 7-star without just going on this 5% banner. And some people have good luck, some people don't. But yeah, so all of this is the information. Now, the maintenance will be happening on Friday from 2 to 5, so it's pretty short maintenance. Should be fine, should not be any extra problems, and that should pretty much be it. So, don't know if you guys will be going for it. I will definitely get one because I need that CG unit for a video I'm working on. And that's all she wrote. So I will see you guys all for the next video when we will be talking about a few other things, mainly some stuff to do with the channel. I need to go get some sleep. It's past midnight. All of you take care.